later, 3 weeks later, I got infected by COVID. But the entire national office bearers of now were in these 4 epicenters: Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and Gauteng. We produced a report, and I invited GS, Comrade Kumbuzo, the head of Secretariat of NIA, was here. Let's share our fact-finding mission report. We have shared with the World Health Organization, we have shared with the ILO. It's on public domain. We have announced the findings, but we still remain anonymous. Instead, we are competing in COSATU because of membership.
Serious.
And we are competing outside COSATU. And yet the report brings us to where? Because all these employees in the health sector belongs to all these units. We miss the moment of saying our members are dying. Can't we ignore everything else and be united in defense of it? That's why companies are not going to be taken serious. That's why people are going to take money meant for PPEs and child. Because we are extremely weak. We are more focused. Our focus is more about us, not about the cause. So unless we appreciate that, and there's no individual who's going to do so, it takes all of us to appreciate why we're in these positions. Because we're not in this position because we're ugly or because we're loud. Because we decided to fight against exploitation. That's why we have trade unions. Until we realize. But as long as we are preoccupied by who must lead and I want to lead, we are not going to make sense. Yeah. And that's a real thing that I want. That's how I want to respond to COVID. And the COVID completely exposed many things. One of the things are the neoliberal policies, cutting social spending. It exposes the kind of a healthcare sector system we have, and education system. We don't have it in this country. If it in the world, particularly in the capitalist societies. And we need alternative to that neoliberal policy. And the solution for us is to venture into a class struggle as a class. So that's how I want to respond, but we'll share this. GPF, look, Comrade Zola was appointed to be in the PIC. I never attended, I declined immediately. When Tito said Zola was going to be there, the following day, I sent a letter of resignation. And then I was asked, how do you resign without being even inaugurated? I said, because you had announced me without consulting me. But precisely because I understood what would be the focus of that board, which is not really the focus of what is meant to do. It's taking money to give it to capitalists to make more savings in a form of profit. The only thing that it does, it takes our money and build what is called malls. It's a form of a development. Malls are not developments. And GPF largely has representation of trade unions. But what impact are they making? No, comrade, you can be, all of us, look, you can have one person from a business and 9 from the trade union. There will be no change. Yeah. The system dictates how we think and how we respond. And some of the things, GPF was our demand, by the way. But look who's running it. So our presence is to just legitimize wrong decisions. And I don't want to be part of legitimizing decisions. That's why I resigned PLC, because I knew there will be no impact.
Take it back, take it back.
So the issue is, there are proposals now, for instance, public sector unions, as part of Resolution 1 of 2018, they have said that redirect our pension, let's have housing. So the issue of the government housing employee scheme is meant to be financed. So we're fighting now. Having agreed, the resolution is quite clear, but what the minister did was to take the resources to be led by home loans. not to be administered and be under the control of GBI. The Communist Party is making that call. Let's benefit out of our investment. That's a call.
Yes.
But we're weak, comrade. I can tell you, we can speak English, we're extremely weak as trade unions.
Yes.
I can tell you, there's no strong union in South Africa. Relative speaking. So GPF is a way to go, but as long as we're not united, we will disagree even on things that we're supposed to be agreeing. And capital are capitalizing. Because the most beneficiaries out of our pension fund are there. So we're making that call ourselves. And hopefully, as part of the discussion, you will deal with that. The second question, comrade, you don't need my view, because it doesn't matter, it's immaterial. These are the instruments, comrades, of the masses and the poor in particular, which are in the form of workers. So it doesn't matter. What we need is our consolidated view that matters. Because I experience exploitation in good years. I go to meetings and choose whether I go or not. So it doesn't matter. What matters is the view of the owners of this instrument, workers. Sometimes we fall in the trap, so you must avoid to make it your own instrument. And it's not the right and entitlement to where we are. The key issue, let the workers determine their destiny and then lead them towards that.
Yes.
If you are not, be removed. Don't regard this as a job.
Okay.
I'm not saying you are, but it is. You are being paid more than you, by the way. Under Patalone now, there's no doubt. So the issue is that the prevailing material conditions must dictate how we think and how we do things, not our wishes. We are in a capitalist society. We are exploited. It must be that exploitation that determines how we must then respond to it. So the wishes are not working. Concrete conditions are the ones. So the solution is that one, in fact, when Zola was in Kossat, was making a lot of noise about the public said, in fact, it was problematic. Zola.
Oh.
Because was the president. So if challenge dance, the president, was a sitang song, would I be a president? Okay. Let's say now how SALISPWU must merge. It can't be merged. You'll be swallowed by the because of his size. I will tell Zola you can't bring something and then think that you're going to change. He will say no, I can't be a deputy. So some of the issues depends on our wishes. Let workers make that determination. That's why it must be mobilized, must be organized, must be capacitated, must be orientated, so that we don't have choice as individuals. We do what is right. There's no dispute about it. It has been the resolution of Kossat. Now, at some point, you will remember, we were to come back later to SAD, but first we were given a project to match with SAMU. We developed constitution, all the things. We were ready to go to a conference. Then SAMU says, says we can't match with that is financial problem. So we are just following. Then we ran away. So the problem is that difficult is that unions historically that they've been there are producing other unions. By the way, SALISPWU arises from Nehao. SALISPWU teachers. Most of the teachers were members of Nehao. When Nehao was born in 1987, you know when SALISPWU was. That man, before he became a provincial secretary of SALISPWU, which was at then, secretary KK was a member of Nehao, and he admits that. So the comrade stands there and says I was a member of Nehao. That comrade, he says he was a member of this in SALISPWU. There's a reason why he left Nehao. And in the process of allowing the reproduction of trade unions, we open up competition. When you are not happy, you go here. Or when you are sidelined or expelled, you establish yours. No, that's true because because we're so vicious as leaders. We're so vicious. Even the Funundora, I'm keeping I follow him, even in employment and so forth. I take him down to the drain. It can't be correct. So these things are many forms, there are many reasons, lousy reasons that make us to be producing instead of coming together. Because of the level of consciousness. There's no solution for the working class except its level of consciousness to venture into a revolution to liberate itself.
Yeah.
So that's a solution for me. Resolutions are taken in Congress. One public sector units. We are saying that it's not new. It's been there. And I do think that we'll leave it. The new generation will continue to do that because of the level of consciousness. Things are about us, not about the revolution. So that's a real thing for me. And the issue of egos for me. No. We're elected by leaders, but we're elected by members, but we become above them. They become stupid. And everything else about them, it depends on how we feel. Let's deal with this. When we had a joint, COSATU and SALISPWU had a joint action last year, I made this announcement in the president of stop egos. Conditions the dictator to be one, who must be united. And I'm saying so. But we will not appreciate that if our level of consciousness is where it is. It's needed more than ever before. That's my issue. The last point, Comrade Tola, on your commitment. And I want to leave you in that context of building the movement. Is it worth it to build a multi-class formation? Personal, and I'm open and I'm arguing wherever I am. We must not waste our time to build a multi-class formation. It doesn't help. It manages contradictions. The contradiction must not be managed because they are inconcilable and are antagonistic. What we need is a suppression of one class by the other. And if that is true, then let's build our own working class instrument to venture into a class struggle, overthrow. We don't have time for ANC now. ANC care less about us.
Yeah.
Even now, they are preoccupied by looting. We're clapping hands for the looters. Others say Syrian, others say yes. Both of them are the same. Even when you go to elect, you choose a devil. You normally say it's better, but the devil is a devil. Look at the party now. They can't speak because they're given positions. So we must just tell the party, go out of government. Let's build a popular left front to mobilize and build consciousness for the revolution.
Oh,
Amanda.
What do you want to say? No. Thank you. Yes, just a second. I want your view because where I'm sitting, even our involvement, the SALISPWU, the federation that we belong to. I've got. I just want your thinking, your wisdom about this neglect thing. I've got a problem because neglect is more of business people who are managing unions. So what is your view? Because I believe that the neglect is becoming a weakest link, especially towards the poor working class. So what is it that we can do? Because I can see that everything, even our rights, are reduced to neglect. So what is your input, what is your wisdom in terms of liberating us? Because I think that we are more trapped in business, and business is dictating for unions or federations to go its way, and it's affecting us as workers. So I just wanted your wisdom in regards to that.
As long as comrades you postpone the real revolution, you are going to get it. Because neglect, structures like neglect are to manage contradictions, not to help to resolve. Okay? So we will never win a revolution through such structures, including your bargaining, by the way. In a real revolution of the working class, bargaining is delaying the real revolution. You claim to be demanding, yet you are begging. So for me, it's not a real revolution because you say you demand 15%, yet you know that you want 3%. And you don't even have a capacity to fight for that 15%. You get worried that if I fight for this 15%, they will deduct. Yeah, that's a revolution inherently is violent and there are casualties in the negotiation. But bargaining, members mobilize their heart, but you go there, it can't be correct. We've taken, we advocated in COSATU last Congress, the unity of workers. We said we must start by going back to NUMSA. As now, we're seconded. We are talking to NUMSA even now. We have to, we process, surgical removal, I guess over anyhow, I was part, in fact, I implement. I implement. So we have a responsibility to come. We will come to Dora as well and others to say this is not a solution to our plight. We will never win. We will never make sense in society if we are far apart. So we have to come.
And I think we have now the clear agenda. That agenda will be engaged as we move on. All the nitty-gritties and the details are fine.